Good afternoon and welcome to Yorkshire Voice this Wednesday, April 6th. I'm Georgia Collins. On today's programme, starting today, the national insurance increase hits pay packets and even breweries.
It's not too bad, but with everything else going up as well, it's all culminating into quite a significant increase in costs.
And we will be finding out why this group of men are finding friends through ukuleles. But first, one trans woman who underwent what she describes as the torture of gender identity conversion therapy has spoken about her anger after the government decided not to ban the practice. The government's U-turn led to over 100 groups withdrawing from the first ever international conference promoting LGBT plus rights. The event has now been cancelled. Among the groups that boycotted the conference were the Yorkshire Mesmac. We spoke to their treasurer, Sue Pascoe, about her experience with conversion therapy and the decision to withdraw from the conference. And we should warn you, some viewers may find the details in this interview upsetting.
Gay conversion therapy is where you try to cure, change, or suppress someone's sexual orientation or gender identity. And that can range from everything from deliverance prayer to exorcisms to corrective rape to electrodes stuck on your head. This is really nasty, coercive stuff to change who you are. So my own personal story starts when I was 5 years old. When I first told my mum that I wasn't a boy, I felt more like a girl. My mum got paralytically drunk one night, and when I told her again that night, she got more extreme and said, "God's going to sort you out." And she tried to crucify me. And so last Thursday, when the leak came out from ITV News that there was going to be no ban, I was just stunned. I just couldn't believe what I was hearing. How could this betrayal of vulnerable people happen? How could the continuation of torture happen? And I've just been reeling ever since that day.
How easy was the decision for Mesmac to pull out of Safe to Be Me conference? Was that an easy decision to make?
There was a lot of good that was in that conference too, because the conference was as much focused in on the international situation of bringing countries that have the death penalty for gay people and trying to bring lots of other parts of the world up to a better place than they are, and to try to bring all communities up to being safe. So to pull out, not just as Yorkshire Mesmac itself, but as the whole community of LGBT charities and civic society organisations, was a huge decision for everybody. But we stood in solidarity. We stood together as a community, and that is beautiful.
And you can see the full interview with Sue Pascoe on our website, Yorkshire Voice. People with non-urgent medical emergencies are being asked to stay away from A&E departments in West Yorkshire. The West Yorkshire Association of Acute Trusts include 6 hospital trusts in West Yorkshire and Harrogate. It's urging patients to only attend their local A&E in life-threatening situations. Ella Bicknell has been following the story. She joins us now.
The West Yorkshire region has reported a surge in the number of people attending the Accident Emergency Department. So much so that the West Yorkshire Association of Acute Trusts, that includes hospitals in Harrogate, Huddersfield, Bradford, Airedale, Calderdale and Leeds, including St James's Hospital behind me, this collection of hospital trusts have sent out a message telling people only to come to A&E if they are in a genuine life-threatening situation. Reports tell us that for some weeks, patients have been waiting for treatment for up to 12 hours. Now, compared to this time last year, April 2021, the numbers of people attending A&E have gone up by 14%. It's on top of many years of NHS staff shortages. For example, out of all the nursing positions available, 1 in 10 are currently vacant. If you look at doctors, that is 1 in 17. And also in recent weeks, shortages have worsened because of this highly infectious strain of the Omicron variant. So the trusts are warning, only come to A&E if it's an emergency. If you're unsure whether your situation is urgent, you can call 111 or you can talk to your GP. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Ella. And now for some news in brief. A fresh appeal for information has been issued about the murder of a teenager who was strangled and dumped in a car on the remote moorland in Kirklees. It follows the sentencing of a 33-year-old Gol Zazai from Greater Manchester, who was jailed for life on Monday for murdering 19-year-old Naji Buller Nexad nearly 3 years ago on Scamandon Moor. West Yorkshire Police believe Zazai did not act alone and say the investigation remains open. CCTV images have been released of a man wanted in connection with an assault in Leeds, which left a 23-year-old man with serious injuries that needed surgery. West Yorkshire Police want to speak to this man about the assault a month ago, which happened in licensed premises in the Leeds city centre. Detectives are appealing for anyone with information that could help identify the man or help the investigation to contact Crime Stoppers anonymously. And West Yorkshire Police are also looking to identify this man in connection with the robbery that happened last month. A woman was robbed in the Beeston area of Leeds on Friday, the 4th of March, and suffered minor injuries during the assault. Officers are asking anyone with information to contact the Leeds District Crime Team by calling 101. A Leeds City Council initiative is helping young people learn how to film at skate parks. The council is inviting young people to bring along their bikes, scooters and skateboards, and they are showing how to capture their latest tricks on a video. It's a collaboration with Leeds Young Film Festival, bringing the On the Move scheme to teens this Easter. Today's event took place in Horsforth Park.
My name's Debbie Maturi and I'm the director for Leeds Young Film Festival. The film festival is about 22 years old now, which is as long as I've been doing it, a long time now, and is part of Leeds City Council's Arts, Events and Venues department. And then this here today, this is a project called On the Move, which is with our sister section, Breeze, as part of the council's offer for young people. And we just thought it'd be really nice to come down to some skate parks across the city and maybe show some children and young people how to capture some of the stuff that they're doing in their skating moves, and show them some basic filmmaking techniques so that they can put their stuff on YouTube or just share it with each other and just learn some hints and tips in the trade.
And that was your news in brief. According to statistics, over 100,000 divorces are granted in England and Wales per year. However, these figures could be on the rise, as today a no-fault divorce lawyer has been introduced. We spoke to a family law expert to get some clarity on what this new law actually means.
So the main way that it's changed is that the Matrimonial Causes Act of 1973, that's how long the divorce law has been enforced, you had to have accused the other party of something to be able to get a divorce. So there was 5 grounds that you could rely upon, one being adultery, another being unreasonable behaviour, 2 years separation with consent, 5 years separation or desertion. So unless you could prove one of those facts alongside the fact that the marriage is broken down irretrievably, you wouldn't be able to obtain a divorce. So the new law under the Divorce, Dissolution and Separation Act of 2020 allows couples to amicably get a divorce by stating the ground that the marriage is broken down irretrievably and not having to prove one of those 5 facts. So the aim of that really is that they'll be able to go through the divorce procedure and it won't be a blame game. And that's the main purpose of the new law.
With the ever-growing refugee crisis, it can be difficult for asylum seekers to navigate life in different countries, especially with the right equipment. Solidaritech is a non-profit organisation based in Bradford. It repurposes unwanted laptops, desktops, tablets and smartphones. They are then passed on to asylum seekers and refugees. Erin Carney reports.
Tech has become an important part in every person's life. However, earlier this year, the Home Office admitted to unlawfully seizing mobile phones from migrants crossing the Channel. This lack of technology meant that asylum seekers struggled to communicate with family at home. Bradford-based Solidaritech aid this growing issue.
Solidaritech, we recycle technology for asylum seekers and refugees, many of whom are digitally excluded. So we refurbish people's donated technology and we gift it out to people who are in need of it. We view technology as a human right. It should be something that everyone has access to. To not have access to technology means that you are excluded by default from a lot of society. So we have an agenda over the last decade called digital by default. So a lot of government services are being taken from being face-to-face delivered to delivered online. That's exacerbated during the pandemic. And if you're having people who don't have access to technology, they are by default being excluded from taking part in society in a lot of cases.
Since 2014, almost 3,000 refugees have been resettled in Yorkshire, but with more and more government services moving online, the need for technology is greater than ever. Since opening, Solidaritech have had almost 2,000 machines donated and have also donated out over 900 machines to various beneficiaries. They've also helped people convert their qualifications to British standards, start businesses, learn English, and track down their family across the world.
A lot of that is really, really rewarding because we get to give it to people who haven't had a machine in a long time or have lost their machine or lost their phone when they've had it confiscated when they've entered the country in some cases. We've done things like help people talk to their families back in their old country, and some people have seen their children for the first time in months and months and months using the Solidaritech device, so it's incredibly heartwarming.
Ben McKenna ending that report from Erin. Now, today marks the start of the new tax year, and employees, businesses and the self-employed will pay an extra 1.25% in our national insurance. Our reporter Phoebe Morton spoke to Horsforth Brewery about how the increase will affect small businesses.
Horsforth Brewery is a small brewery with a small team. Joe Robshaw is a brewer as well as the accountant for the business. The team used to be slightly bigger, but due to COVID and a bad sales period over winter, they've had to make cuts to staff. Whilst they're doing better this year, with energy prices going up, this national insurance rise is just another cost small businesses are going to have to factor in.
I think the NHS have done absolute wonders over the past 2 years, and I've always appreciated and respected them. But with the cost of living going up, the electricity, gas bills going up, it's really going to put a dampener on just people in general, I think, and it's going to be a real struggle.
Ministers claim the national insurance rise will go towards boosting health and social care and easing the burden on the NHS. But many people involved in small businesses are struggling to keep their heads above water. The Society of Independent Brewers predicted that this year would see a mass closure of UK breweries.
In isolation, it's not too bad, but with everything else going up as well, it's all culminating into quite a significant increase in costs. And the issue we've got is obviously, there's only so much we can put prices up that customers will be willing to keep paying for the beer, so at the moment we're getting a bit of a squeeze. I think it's fair that there is an increase in some form of taxation or levy to pay for the NHS. Whether people like us should be paying it, I'm not too sure. You've got a lot of big businesses that, albeit they do pay a lot of tax, but I think they can afford to pay more, and I think you've got a lot of very wealthy individuals that could afford to pay more as well. People like us, we're getting by, and something like this just makes it that little bit extra difficult to get by. So no, I don't think it's fair.
Only time will tell how badly this rise will affect small businesses and how much it will benefit the NHS.
Statistics show men are up to 5 times more likely to end their lives by suicide than women. A Leeds-based support group is aiming to tackle this through conversation and music. Charlie Bergman reports.
The Man About Town Ukelele group was set up by Cloth Cat, a charity which aims to empower people through music.
I believe music is a very, very powerful tool when it comes to helping people with mental health. It really is. It does make a hell of a difference to people's lives. Not only does it perk people up, make people feel better about themselves, but they also seem to grow in confidence, and feel good about themselves through trying and having a go. And it's a way of people get to talk about their own problems without having no pressure to do so. So there is a lot of benefits to gain out of it from that sort of point of view. There really is. But like I say, for most of us that suffer like this, it is only a temporary fix, but at least it's something. I'm in dreamland myself doing this with them all. I never imagined I'd be doing this. This 2 hours every week to me is the only time in every week that I get a break from the way I suffer on my own at home.
The Leeds Suicide Audit 2016 found that men in Leeds are almost 5 times more likely to end their own life than women. This is almost double the national average. The group helps men suffering with mental health issues and loneliness to engage back in the community through a shared love of music.
It's been creative, good for people's mental health, and that's the aim of the project Man About Town. So there to combat loneliness. It's funded for men, but it's not specifically all for men, so women do come along. And we chat, we have fun, and then we go home and we practice, and we perform together each week and learn new songs. We've got our first gig coming up on Sunday, so we're all looking forward to that as well.
I think it's neat to see all the other people around progressing as well, and then it makes me more courageous to try new things. And then you also can synchronize with other people, and so it's challenging me slowly to feel more confident and just try new things.
The past 2 years of the pandemic have been really difficult for everyone, but the Man About Town Ukelele group have persevered, and this Sunday is their first ever concert, where their music will be putting a smile on everyone's faces.
And finally, here at Yorkshire Voice, we've been avidly following the progress of Peregrine falcon family nesting in a box at Wakefield Cathedral. The 4th egg arrived on Sunday, and the parental peregrines have been sat incubating the eggs from the comfort of their nest box. Here we can see the birds looking after those 4 eggs. No more eggs are expected, but we will be waiting to see when the first chicks emerge. And that's all we've got time for today. If you have any stories you think we should be covering, please contact us. Bye.